Welcome back to AM Northwest. Here to test our skills at reading the body language of leaders. We're happy to welcome back the author of Human Lie Detection and Body Language 101, and that's, of course, Vanessa Van. It's nice to see you again.
Hi.
And the premise here is that leaders carry themselves in a different way. I guess you would have to say that they're natural leaders because this is intrinsic to them, right?
You know, that we all know that person when they walk into the room. It's like they have this magnetism.
Right.
You know, everyone turns to look at them. We have that person who just is a natural born leader. And actually, the research shows that intuitively we pick up on someone's ability to lead. There was a fascinating study that actually had people look at pictures of Fortune 500 CEOs, and they could pick out, just by looking at their picture, who was the most profitable on the list.
Well, is it their body language or what they were wearing?
It's about levels of testosterone,
okay.
How they carry themselves, how they hold their face, and then, of course, how they interact with people. So today I wanted to talk about a couple of the different cues that you can do if you want to be more powerful, if you want to be a leader, and also how to spot the leader in the room if you're not quite sure.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're sure because he wears a shirt says I'm in charge. But okay. All right, so give us a quiz. We'll see if we get it.
Okay, so here's question number one for you, and I hope that people at home can play along too. 1, what do leaders do? A, smile more, or B, smile less?
Smile less.
I would think that they smile more.
Oh, I would think
because they're
smile
engaging
less.
And they're charming and they're, hey, how are they? Win you over, right?
Right. So actually leaders smile less, but it's very common that people think they smile more. So smiling is actually a subordinate behavior. So women from a young age are taught, if you're nervous, just smile.
Right.
Or if
and if you don't smile, someone says, why aren't you smiling?
Right.
Yeah.
You don't
Girls
look
are
happy. Why
girls
don't you
are
look
always
happy?
expected to smile.
It's actually an appeasement behavior. We do
Right.
it to sort of connect with people. But actually, if you're in a room, you'll notice the boss will be the one who's not smiling, and everyone around him or her will be smiling at him or her. So it's an interesting way to notice that that's actually a submissive behavior.
All right.
Really?
Yeah. All right. Number 2.
Helen 1, Dave 0.
Where's okay? We'll get your number up. All right. 2. What do leaders do? A, interrupt. B, don't interrupt.
I would think they interrupt.
I would say that they don't interrupt.
I would think they interrupt because they're busy.
So they interrupt, but what's interesting about this is that alphas...
By the way, I'm right. I got it right.
1-1. We're tied. We're tied. So this is interesting. So an alpha is the science word for leader. An alpha is an individual in the community with the highest rank. Either they have the best physical prowess or they're the smartest. And they interrupt because when they speak, people naturally quiet down. It almost happens accidentally. You know that person when they speak, it's like everyone in the room turns to look at them. Mm-hmm. They actually have a vocal power. They kind of speak from that bass tone of confidence that everyone intuitively pays attention. So yes, they do interrupt. I don't love this, so what I do if I'm talking to a leader and they interrupt me, I'll say, gosh, I can't get a word in with you. They usually don't even realize they're doing it. And so you can joke around with a leader if you have an alpha in the office or at your home. That's what you can say to sort of cue them to not interrupt you as much.
Okay.
All right, number 3, what do leaders do? Hold eye contact more, or B, hold eye contact less?
Okay, I'd say more.
I think more, too. You think of like Bill Clinton, for example. People say that Bill Clinton made you feel like he was only focused on you, Monica.
So this is a trick question. You both have been right because this is interesting. Leaders hold eye contact more when they're speaking to you, but they hold eye contact less when you're speaking to them.
Oh.
So have you ever been at a party and you're talking to someone and they're kind of wandering eyes, looking around?
Yeah.
So leaders don't...
That's you, Dave.
You're a wandering eye? Do you have a wandering eye, Dave? So what you can do, what I do, I like when people look at me in the eye when I'm talking. I'll actually pause and I'll wait for them to look back at me and then I'll continue speaking, or I'll touch their elbow slightly to get their attention. So you can actually do that with someone if they're not looking you in the eye, they're looking over your head.
What's the benefit of that when you're dealing with, for people in the business realm, when you're dealing with somebody and obviously they're a leader and you're trying to accomplish something, what's the value in taking a leader out of their comfort zone or their natural zone?
So most basically, eye contact breeds trust. So you always want to get a leader to look at you because they're more likely to trust you if they're holding that deep eye gaze with you as you're explaining something. So that's why it's so important to break them out of that overhead gazing, especially at parties, networking events, birthday parties. It's so annoying when people look over your shoulder. So you can definitely get that eye contact back. 4, what do leaders do? A, pace. B, stand still.
Oh.
Wow. Okay, I would say stand still.
I would think pace because they're thinking And the leaders often have little time for anything, so they're always in motion.
So typically, I actually thought the same thing as you, Dave, but actually Helen is right. So typically leaders stand still. They move very purposefully. Think of like a large bear, a grizzly bear. You know, bears are like the alphas of the animal kingdom. They want to conserve as much energy as possible. So leaders also tend to be the stillest in the room. They hold their shoulders back, they stand still, and they observe everyone around them, whereas subordinates are typically running around them. Think of like cartoons. You always have smaller characters running around the leader. So actually, I always say move purposely. If you're in a room and you want to show power, stand still, take a deep breath, and stand firmly planted. That actually shows power.
All right.
Wow.
All right, last one. What do leaders do? Nod as you speak or hold their head still as they speak?
Oh, I would say hold still if they're not. I would
Is
say
this
hold
as
still.
they speak or you speak?
As they speak.
Oh, as they speak.
Oh, I would think that they hold their head still.
That's right. So nodding is actually like a bobblehead. The more you nod, the more subordinate you look. So leaders also hold their heads still, hold proudly. So the more powerful you want to be, still and proud. That's what I always say.
Interesting. Wow.
Well, that's a great thing to know. That's fascinating. All right, good. And of course, books available in all the usual places. The Human Lie Detection and Body Language 101. Vanessa Van
Van
Edwards.
Edwards.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.